Every 20 strokes of the hacksaw, the prisoners had to pause their work and listen attentively to their surroundings, because if discovered by the guards, the escape plan would be a complete failure, and they might even lose their lives. But this grate was made of metal, impossible to saw through in a short time. He could only keep alternating the work with his companion, with the two working together. After half an hour, the grate was finally cut. They then impatiently climbed through the window, arriving in a basement-like place, hoping to find a passage to escape. They circled around but found nothing. All the exits were, without exception, locked with iron doors. With no other choice, the man first restored the grate. Just then, he noticed a pile of discarded windows. The iron bolts on them could be sawed off to make a key, but after just a couple of strokes, footsteps of guards were heard from above. They quickly hid. Turns out, two guards on duty had sneaked down to the basement to smoke, but they would never have imagined. The two prisoners, stacked like acrobats, ingeniously slipped past the corner, but before they could catch their breath, the guards returned. Fortunately, they didn't notice anything suspicious. After the guards left, they didn't dare delay for a moment. The man hastily took out the saw and continued his work. After half an hour of focused cutting, the bolt was successfully sawed off. The man forcefully bent it, then walked straight to the iron door, skillfully inserting it into the lock. With a click, the lock was easily opened. They then lit the kerosene lamp they carried, and without hesitation, walked into the dark, damp basement. Although the lamplight was dim and faint, it was enough to illuminate their path to freedom. And then they discovered, to their delight, the door locks here were all exactly the same. With the help of the master key, they quickly found the target of this trip, the iron door leading to the city sewers. But they never imagined, this iron door was fitted with a spring lock. The master key in their hands instantly became useless, but the calm man immediately thought of a solution. He first gently lifted the iron door, then propped up the bottom hinge with the key. He then took out the hacksaw from his pocket, and forcefully sawed the top hinge into two pieces. He then repeated the process, sawing the bottom hinge into two pieces as well. Then, removing the master key, and pulling out the broken nails inside, the man easily took the iron door off, with freedom just a step away. They didn't rush to leave. Instead, they took out a match, broke it in half, then inserted it into the gap of the hinge, and forcefully struck it with the master key, making it fuse perfectly with the hinge. After doing all this, the man went inside and rehung the door. This way, they had not only successfully removed the iron door, but also cleverly disguised the scene. Even if guards appeared here, it would be hard for them to notice anything unusual. The two entered the sewers with excited hearts. Unfortunately, it was sealed with thick cement. This kind of cement was very sturdy. Ordinary tools simply couldn't chisel through it, but the cement used on the walls beside it was of poor quality. Just a little force could scrape it off. The man said he could dig through it in just a few days. Tomorrow, they would find tools and officially start. By now, it was already dawn. The guards were about to come for inspection, and the two hadn't returned yet. Luckily, they made it back in the inn. After restoring the scene, he and his companion quickly laid back in bed, pretending to be still asleep. The guards didn't notice anything unusual either. After this incident, the man discovered an important problem. They didn't have watches and couldn't tell the time. If the two had returned just 10 seconds later, they would have been exposed. To avoid being discovered by the guards, they had to find a way to get a timer to facilitate their actions. For this, one of the companions pretended to see a doctor and stole 2 glass bottles. Then, while the guards weren't paying attention, he grabbed 2 handfuls of sand and stuffed them in his pockets. Even though he knew the guards searched the prisoners each time they entered and exited the cells, Charlie still chose to do this, because he already had a countermeasure. He lied, saying the prison food was too good. The bowls and spoons needed sand to scrub them clean, because sand, unlike iron rods or spoons, couldn't be used to dig tunnels and escape. The guards let him go without any suspicion. With the materials obtained, a simple hourglass was quickly made. After experimenting, the man discovered that each flow of sand was half an hour. With the help of the hourglass, they could estimate an approximate time. Before long, he and his companion brought tools to the sewers. They first built a simple platform with wooden planks, then placed the hourglass, and drew a circle on the wall. Then they could start chiseling the wall. The cement here was indeed of poor quality. A large piece of plaster was quickly chiseled off by the two, exposing the bricks inside. These bricks were their biggest obstacle. During a break, the man completely transformed the bolt into a key. Then, checking the time, he found it was already 2 o'clock. Time to go back and change shifts. He pulled his companion's foot with the rope, waking him up. It was just time for the guards' inspection. They once again fooled them with the dummies. After that, the man brought the team changing shifts to the designated spot. After instructing them on everything, he turned around and went back to rest. The two companions also began a day's work. But the next day, they encountered trouble. The faucet in the room suddenly broke, constantly leaking water. If it suddenly burst while they were digging at night, the noise would definitely alert the guards. Then everything would be over. To prevent accidents from happening, Charlie called the warden, saying the faucet in the room was broken. The prison plumber was quickly brought to fix it for them.